Alright, what's going on everybody? This is Sparkle Fresh, and today I'm going to be doing a how not to suck at Call of Duty Ghosts video. I'm sure a lot of people are struggling with this game. I'm sure some of you aren't. This video isn't necessarily for you, but I really just want to give some tips and pointers because I'm pretty good at this game, and it's a lot of fun, especially once you get past the learning curve. So real quick, I'm going to get into some things that don't really have to do with the actual gameplay, but they're things that you can do before you even start playing. So if you're playing, obviously a wired connection is going to help you a ton. Even though there are dedicated servers, you still have to connect to something, so having a wired connection is going to help consistency a lot. I highly recommend using it. I know it made a huge difference when I was playing. Also, if you're playing on a television, just know that you're going to be at a disadvantage. There are a couple things you can do. You can switch your video setting to a game mode. That's going to help. That's going to turn off a couple things within the TV that you don't really need while you're playing a game, and it's going to help the input lag. But if you can, I highly recommend using a monitor. Anything between a 23-inch monitor and maybe like a 30-inch monitor. I'm not really sure what the size is, but the input lag, do a little bit of research if you're going to get one. But the input lag, it makes a massive difference. I can't even begin to tell you. If you're playing on a TV, even in a game mode, you're just going to be at a disadvantage. You're going to lose gunfights. It's going to happen. So just remember that if you're playing on a television, not to be too hard on yourself, because if you think you should have won a gunfight, then you probably would have if you would have been playing on a monitor. Second thing we're going to get into is using a Control Freak. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about it. Some of you might not have heard about it, but it basically is a thumbstick extension. Imagine two sticks, sticking out of the sand. One of them's really short, one of them's a lot taller. It's going to take a lot more. The tall stick's going to have a lot more range of motion. It's going to take a lot longer to get from point A to point B, left to right, front to back. And the smaller one, you can make a lot quicker movements. So that is going to help you with your accuracy, and I can honestly say that it helps a ton. The difference between when I got it and before was absolutely amazing. So I highly recommend that. And I think the last thing is, I talk to a lot of people that are struggling, and their sensitivity is just way too high. So turn your sensitivity down. I know most pro Call of Duty players play somewhere between a 2 and a 5. I recommend starting off maybe a little bit lower on like the 2 side, and then work your way up. It might sound low, but I'm telling you right now, I use a 2 most of the time, and it doesn't seem slow to me. My accuracy is spot on. And when you're using SMGs like the MTAR or the Vector, you're still moving really quickly. So I highly recommend that. It's going to help your accuracy, and I think overall you'll just end up playing a lot better. Now let's get into the actual gameplay. I'm playing Domination here. One of the things that you want to try to do is you want to try to stick with the lobby. You don't want to be going in and out, jumping in the middle of the games. You want to try to learn how your teammates are going to play, because you're playing solo. You might even be playing with a couple guys. I know I play solo a lot, but you want to try to learn how the other people are going to play so you can figure out how exactly you're going to play. Because if you're just running around, trying to cap flags, you might actually be hurting the team more than helping the team. So stick in a lobby, try to understand how the other team is playing, and try to understand the best how you can help your team based on how they're playing. So I'm in this game mode right now. I can kind of tell my team is scattered, around the A territory. They're watching over C. So I know that that's not going to be it's not going to be very lucrative for me to go and do the same thing that they're doing. The B base on this map is, extremely popular, so I know staying around this area. Oh, Loki time. Alright, so Loki's done. I love that thing. I'm going to talk about just a couple more things before I end this. And one of them is going to be the weapons that you use. I don't necessarily recommend that you use any weapon in particular, but what I do recommend is sticking to something. You don't want to constantly be changing it up, especially if you're not a highly skilled player at the game. Stick with something. Get maybe 2 or 3 classes. Have an LMG class or an assault rifle class, an SMG, maybe a sniper if you prefer sniping. But just find a gun, find a loadout that you like, and just stick with it. Use the same one constantly, over and over and over and over again, because that is going to help you a ton. If you constantly keep switching between different guns and loadouts and perks and abilities, you're going to have to you're going to have to get used to something again constantly, and it's just going to make your life a lot more difficult. So just stick with it. Find a loadout that you enjoy, find a gun that you like, and just keep playing with it. Play with it all the time. Doesn't matter the game mode, just go with it. I promise you it'll become a lot easier, and you'll have a lot more fun. I think the final thing we're going to talk about is just the maps in general and map knowledge. For players that aren't that good, what I recommend doing, and I still do it a lot, just because most of the time when I'm playing objective modes, I noticed that other people do the same thing. They feel comfortable with a certain side of the map, and they kind of stick with it. They rush territories, they stay by certain bases or certain sides of the map because that's what they feel comfortable with. But stay to a side, pick a route of a map. Take this map for instance. You got the area over by B, you got that hill, you have the bottom area. Stick to that side of the map. Learn that part of the map like the back of your hand. Learn where the enemy team spawns. Learn how you can get into it. Learn how you can flank people. Learn how they can flank you, where you can pick people off. Learn good hiding spots. The more you do that, the more comfortable you're going to feel, and the better you are going to play. You might not be that great of a player, but you might end up becoming so comfortable and so familiar with the side of the map that nobody can touch you over there. But you go roaming around, other places aimlessly, and you could have a really negative kill-death ratio that game. You could get no captures. You could have no defends. You could not help your team at all. So stick to a side of the map. Feel comfortable, with what you're doing, and depending on if you're having fun, if your team's playing good, switch it up. But doing that will help you learn each individual map a lot better and a lot faster than just running around aimlessly, blaming it on the spawns. Because let's face it, guys, the spawns aren't that bad. Everybody complains about it, but there's only so many places people can spawn. So if your team is entirely spread out over the map and you got guys at B and C and A, they're gonna spawn in front of somebody. I mean, there's no getting around it. So if you kind of just hold out, stick to your area, get really comfortable with it, you're going to learn all of those spots, and you're just going to play a lot better. You're going to feel a lot more comfortable. You're going to get a lot less frustrated. But just remember, if you're playing on a TV, if you're playing on a wireless connection, if you don't have control freaks, not necessarily saying that you have to use them. I mean, some people play just fine without them, but they do help. If you're playing on a really high sensitivity, you're going to make this game a lot more difficult than it needs to be. And just remember, like anything else in life, it takes time. It takes time, it takes practice. You're not going to get good at this game overnight. If you really want to be good, you're going to have to dedicate some hours to it. You're going to have to play, you're going to have to get on. I recommend finding a group of people that you enjoy playing the game with. And, overall, it's all about having fun and having a good time. And let's face it, dying a bunch and losing every game that you're in is just not any fun. So I hope this was slightly helpful for some of you. If not, oh well. There's not much I could do about that. I tried. But I finally got my capture card working again, so hopefully I'll get some more Power Star Golf videos going. It's been a crazy New Year's. I've had a lot of stuff going on, a lot of personal things, vacation, all that good stuff. But we're gonna get back in the swing of it here. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you have a good one. See you later.